Hello my lovely Firefly Soul Art family, welcome to another video. Just a quick studio chat, something that's been on my mind for quite some time. You know, the normal old critic is always in the background. Over the years, I've been very hard on myself because I feel I paint too slow. And you know, you look at other artists and they work and they go quick, 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 all done. And it's taken quite some time for me to work through this and accepting the fact that I am a slower painter. That's just the way it is, and there's nothing wrong with it. Some of the old masters took years and years before they finished a painting. And that also made me realize that in today's modern life, everything is about fast, quick gratification. Everything must happen quick, quick, quick. That's why we've got like Instagram, we've got TikTok, all quick, quick videos. It's that quick, instant gratification. And I had to work really hard and make peace with the fact that I am a slow painter. And that's also made me realize that life in general has become so fast-paced that it's incredible. I think also that is one of the reasons why a lot of people suffer from burnout, because everything is just that quick, 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 quick. And what we actually need to do is to slow down. So I've adapted this principle now of slow living, and I'm not talking about snail space. Nothing wrong with snail space. Nothing wrong with snail's pace. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, so yes, basically adapting the slow living principle where everything happens at a slower pace, which also helps for my fibro. If the camera shakes or moves at any point in time during the video, I would like to apologize because the arm my camera is attached to the table that I'm working on. These are not artist colors by any means, they are all student. So I always lay out my palette exactly the same way. Be it on a small space like this, a big space, it doesn't matter what it is, it's always in the same order. And the reason for that is because it just makes it so much easier when you choose colors, because you don't have to think twice, oh, where's this color? You know exactly where it is. I use double primaries. So in other words, a warm and a cool of each of the primaries, white, and then I will bring earth tones. Now in here, you will see that I've got a dark orange, and the reason for that is this specific palette that I bought, the set, these ones, does not contain a cadmium yellow, and I need the cadmium yellow to be able to mix a lovely vibrant orange. The reason for that, it gets a little bit more complicated, is it's got to do with the undertone of the color. Like this yellow has got a little bit of a green undertone, and green and red is lying on the opposite side of the color wheel, which means they are complementary. And the moment that you mix complementary colors together, they will tone one another down. In other words, the color will become less vibrant. So hence me bringing in a dark orange, because the best orange would have been brilliant red and cadmium orange. So I'm going to lay out the paint, and then you'll see how I go about it. So it doesn't matter if I paint with oils or watercolor, whatever, the palette always is in exactly the same order. Because there's no cadmium yellow that would have gone there, I'm just going to put the dark orange there for now. brilliant red, which is like a naphtha red, which is not quite cadmium red, but it's close enough. Your crimson has got a blue undertone. I've got yellow ochre, which is part of the earth tones. I'll use more of that. And I've got burnt sienna. Oh my word. These things have got, just want to shake it up quickly. There we go. So, say for example, it's a palette that I hold. It will be from light to dark. Generally, when you hold your palette in your left hand, you will start with the white this side because it's the color that's going to be against your apron or clothes, and normally the lighter colors will come out easier. But because my palette is down, I always go from left to right. So it will be like white, lemon, yellow, orange, cadmium red or brilliant red in this instance, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, yellow ochre, and this is actually part of one another. Wait, let me get another brush. And it's burnt sienna. I just want to mix the binder back in there a bit more. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to move these out the way for now. What I'm going to do now, I just want to transfer these colors onto the plate because there are quite a few here, and it does not leave me enough space to mix my colors. So you will see as my colors are laid out, just ignoring the earth tones, my palette is always laid out according to the color wheel. So today I want to focus on finishing the ears. But before I do that, there's just some touch-ups here that I wanted to do on the green. So let me just do that quickly. You will always add a darker color to a lighter color. And the reason for that is when you start mixing color and you start with the darker color first, then you have to add so much of the lighter color. And in the end, you're going to sit with a big blob of paint. So that is why you will always add the darker color to the lighter color. So you'll start off with a light, because then you can just add systematically. So what I want to do now is I'm going to try and mix that color there, which is quite a dark green. And you'll see as I am mixing, I'm not just going to use, as I'm mixing, I'm not going to use just yellow and blue. Now, as I mentioned earlier, red and green, they lie on the opposite color of the color wheel. So in other words, when I add them, they will mute one another, but they will also darken one another. I'm not going to add the cadmium. I want this to go darker, so I'm going to add the darkest red, which is also a cool red, which is your alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson has generally a very strong pigment strength, so a little goes a long way. So I'll rather start out with a little bit. There you can see. Just a little bit more. A little bit more yellow. Just want to see. And also it depends on the paint that you use, the medium. Watercolors dry lighter, acrylics dries darker, oils will remain the same, and gouache, most of the time the darker colors will go lighter and the lighter colors will go darker, but then it also depends on what pigment is used. So it's that way it's good to get to know the palette or the paints that you are using. Just want to see how this matches up. A tiny bit more yellow, and let's see. I added too much yellow there, so it's like a yellow green, which I don't want, like a yellow green there. So this here I think is fine. Wet my brush. Add some of the water. See there. Oops. I will just add some of this overall, just to bring in. There we go. Just want to wipe that off there. There we go. So now I'm just going to let it dry. Blend in quite nicely. Rinse off my brush. Never leave your brushes, be it watercolor, gouache, acrylic, oils, it doesn't matter. Never leave them to stand in the water because they will deform your brush. Let's just see. I've got a bit of a glare with the light coming, natural light coming in, so I'm just trying to keep an eye and see. A little bit more here. For now I am finished with a green, so I'm just going to take that out so I can create more space for the other colors that I would like to mix. I'm just mixing up colors quickly of what I see. There's some of that, and then there's like a darkish purplish. If I want to get a bright purple, then I would use alizarin crimson, because alizarin crimson has got a blue undertone, a bias, blue bias, and because I'm mixing it with blue, the purple that you get will just be so much more vibrant. If you had to use cadmium red has got an orange undertone. Blue and orange is complementary on the color wheel, which means you will get a more muted purple. And the amount of red and blue that you add in will depend on if you want a red purple or a blue purple. Just want to add that in there. And I want to bring in a little bit of yellow because I want to mix a dark color. So let's start with the lighter colors first. What's nice about gouache is that you can paint light over dark and dark over light. It does not really matter. You just can't go over a darker color over a lighter color and vice versa too many times, because the bottom layer will dissolve. So yeah, I want to show you how I use my brush as per in the previous video. I painted some more yesterday, which I didn't record, but this is how far I got. I initially did some other layers underneath here, and now this is to me the ugly stage, because it looks completely wrong, etc, etc. So what I'm going to do now is I'm working in layers. I'm using my favorite brush. This is what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like when I pull it through the paint. I normally do this. I take it flat and I sweep it one side, turn it around, do other side. Let me do a close-up. So for me to get that sharp edge to do fine hairs, this is the brush from the top. So I turn it sideways and then I pull it through the paint that way, turn it 180, pull it through, and then that is what gives you that very sharp edge. So I'm going to show you how I use this brush for fine hairs. So all I'm doing now is I'm working in multiple layers, lightest light, darkest darks. I might bring in some intermediate as well. Just want to see where I am now. Okay, and I'll be turning this painting. Sorry for the shaking. The camera is attached to the table I'm painting on. Okay, so I will show you. Just want to move this out the way. And the reason why I am using purple, I'm not using pure white at all, is I've got some yellow here, and yellow and purple is complementary, so they work very well together. And I just want to spritz my paint. This way I just keep my paint workable, that it doesn't dry on the palette. I just want to see quickly. I want to go, let me get some more here. So I've mixed on this plate, I've mixed a purple with alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue, and this is the main colors that I'm going to use now for my layering. Just want to pull it through, get that sharp edge. Okay, I want to work here, so I hope you can see. At the moment I'm still using the middle value. So it's just multiple strokes on top of one another. And you always want to move the brush in the direction that the hair grows. You'll see there's a sharp line here. I'm going to soften this as I am continuing with my painting process. Just want to see here. Okay, I can go lighter. So all I'm doing now is I'm just working in a different value with the same color. I want to cool it down a little bit. So I'm just taking a little bit of ultramarine just to cool it down a little bit. And I'm working with extremely light touches. The brush is only just touching the canvas. Just. Okay, the reason why I cleaned my palette is for now I am done with the purple. So if I need to rework some of the darker sections, then it's easy for me just to mix the purple again. Plus I've got a little bit left on this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mix these colors, which I then will work in between those. So it will have a similar effect to what is going on here. This is yellow ochre, by the way. My brush has been rinsed, it's clean. So now I'm going to pick up more paint and I will work similar to these ones. I must just make a little bit of a dark one as well. So as you can see, there's no pure white. So what I'm doing now is I am trying to get rid of this harsh line. I just want to show you, I want to make this color a little bit cooler because it's shadow. So I'm going to add this purple that I mixed. So I'm just adding a little bit of that. Just to cool it down a bit. See, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to use the deerfoot brush. It looks like this. From the top, from the sides. So it's angled, so it's like a round brush that was chopped off at an angle. And I'll show you. So I'm going to work exactly in the same colors here. Okay. Let me move it a bit out the way, then you can see what I'm doing. So I'm taking the extra off. And I'm not pressing hard, I'm touching very, very lightly. Okay. So let's go to the purple. There we go. Turn it. Let's see if I can bring this in here, then you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. So I'm working in circular motion. Oh, there's a hair. Come on. Really? It's a stubborn hair on my painting. Here we go. Okay. Really? You're still there? Oh, let me just get it off with someone else. There we go. Where was I? Okay. With the purple. So I'm basically sort of almost scrubbing. You'll see the purple that side is cooler compared to this, because this is the sunshine. The sunshine. Sunshade. Or sun side. I'll get it right. Okay. Let's work it here. So I'm using it on the flat angle. I'm gonna go quite light. Let's see. Okay. Let me turn it. So what I'm doing now is just to try and give the effect of wool. There we go, this side. to do, let me just rinse this off quickly. Just want to work in some more purple here. Let's see. Yeah, that's all right. It's not too shabby. So what I'm doing now, I'm just re-wetting my purple here. That's the nice thing about gouache and watercolor. Nothing goes to waste. Now that you will now see that this is a red purple, so I'm going to add some ultramarine to make it a cooler purple. See, like that. There you go. Okay, then we go that side, a bit of this. Now we go back to the purple. I'm just lightly touching the painting. Okay, let's go lighter again. So as you can see, I go back and forth in layers. But that's just my painting style. Okay, let's see. I want to do something here. By the head. What a flat head. We'll do something about that now. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just dabbing the paintbrush, the bristles, the tips. I'm just dabbing that in. So let's focus a bit more on the lights. Let's make you more woolly. This side is reflected light, but I don't want it so light like this side, so I'm just adding a little bit of that. That is not like a pure white. All right, Mr. Sheep, or shall we say Mrs. Sheep, let's give you some more. Let's see what's happening here. How does it look? Can we do more? There we go. I think that looks a little bit better, eh? You don't have a wonky head now. But we also don't want to make it so big so you can get a big head, so. Okay. Let me see. I need to do something with your head. I don't like that section there. So, let's see, what shall we do? Let's mix up some green quickly. And then we can do your eyelashes. Won't that be beautiful? I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so that you get notifications. It was great having you with me. I enjoyed painting the painting. So, bye for now. Take care. Mwah.